Welcome to another episode of the Davey Train. Today I'm going to talk to you about running. 5 years ago, I set a goal to run far and fast. I wanted to run ultra marathons and I wanted to run marathons fast. I accomplished that goal. I ran 50 milers, 100 milers, I did an Ironman, I ran the Boston Marathon. I did all this stuff I wanted to do. I ran a sub 3 hour marathon and I did so with minor injuries. After completing all these goals, I figured out one thing, that I know nothing about running. Right now I'm dealing with injuries. I had a year-long hamstring injury, and now after starting my marathon training again, I had a calf injury. The very same thing that draws me to running is the same thing that makes me never want to do it again. Nobody knows anything about running. I've gotten educated on running. I've read books, Born to Run, Barefoot Running, Chi Running. I've done all this education. After all this, I've come to realize that I don't know anything about running. I'm still dealing with injuries. Here's the problem with running. Nobody really knows what they're doing. There's been lots of books written about it. There's science, there's education you can get, there's running form, running classes. But in the end, there's as much opinions on running as there are runners out there. Take, for example, shoes. You've got people running 100-mile races in Hoka shoes, which are like this thick and they feel like marshmallows. You've also got the Tarahumara Indians in Mexico running ultra marathons in tire treads. And amongst other things, the hard part about running shoes is the shoes keep changing. You find a shoe you like and then the shoe company stops making it. They're all about money and making the new greater thing, and they think they have to keep changing their shoes. So you find a shoe that you like and then they change it. This happened to me. I've been running in the same pair of shoes for 5 years now. I found a shoe I liked and their latest model, I hate it. It's completely different. They had to change it. So I switched the pair of shoes that I use, and first run in those shoes, I got this huge calf injury. And then you try to get medical advice and you go talk to one doctor and he says, never run again, running is horrible for you. Then you go talk to another one and he says, yeah, do this, do this, do this, and you'll be able to run it. Then you have stretching. Some people say, don't stretch at all before you run.
Some people say you need to stretch for an hour before you run. Some people say stretch after you run. Some people say dynamic stretching. Some people say static stretching.
So that's the hard thing with running. You don't know who to turn to for advice. I don't know who to turn to for advice. And another thing is running form. You've got the fastest runners in the world saying that you need to do a nice heel strike, roll off, and then you've got tons of fast people saying a mid-foot strike, forefoot strike. You've got barefoot runners, you've got all these different things coming all different directions, and nobody is saying the same thing. That's the difficult thing, is there's no one answer to what works for running. And with most other sports you can do, this is a technique that works best. If you do this, if you practice it, you'll get the best at it, you can perfect your art and do it for the rest of your life. But running, there's no answers. So here's what I've come to conclude with running. Obtain as much education as possible. Read all the books on running. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should just go out and do it. You need to figure out running forms, nutrition, stretching. So you need to find out everything you can about running, then you need to adjust and adapt as needed. When one thing stops working, figure something out and switch to something else. For me, I'm at a point where everything I thought I knew is probably changing, so I need to figure out something else. I have a ton of education. I need to figure out what is gonna work, so I wanna keep doing it. I absolutely love running. I'm drawn to it, and that's one of the things that absolutely intrigues me about it, is the challenge of it, figuring it out. Anybody that can run their entire lives, a full career of it, I give them props, because I think they've figured it out. They figured out what works for them, but what works for one person will not work for the next person. So you have to figure out what works for you and do it so it's enjoyable for you, and I think you can have a long life of running. I do truly believe that humans are born to run, as it says in Christopher McDougall's book, but you gotta figure out what works for you. Talk to people, get education, get advice, but in the end, you gotta do what works for you and what's enjoyable for you. So good luck. Hopefully some of that rambling made sense. I don't know if this was any help or if it was no help at all, because I'm just another guy saying something, but good luck in your running, and comment below if you guys have found out what works for you, favorite shoes, technique, running form, nutrition, stretching. Let me know the kind of stuff that's working for you. I'd love to hear it. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.